All right. So,
We each have our lists.
yep.
Um,
I'm going to say you're going with Kittle.
Kittle is my number one. Okay. I'm gonna say that you're going with uh Kyle Pitts.
All right. Drum roll, please.
And my number one is still Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelsey,
Yeah.
Mark Andrews.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He's my number two. I mean,
So, why'd you
so
choose Kelsey over Andrews?
I think just I think he's probably got maybe 3 more years in him.
Yeah.
And when he's producing, he's just incomparable. I mean, yeah, Andrews had more points this year, but that Baltimore offense, I don't know. I just think there's more stability in Kansas City.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that.
And what
And
about you? How do you shake it out?
eh, um, just the age, really.
Yeah.
Andrews 27, Kelsey is going to be 33. And granted, I mean, both of them, well, Andrews was over 100 yards, 100 receptions. Kelsey was close. Both of them were over 1,000. Both of them got 9 touchdowns. It's the production's there. I just think that I don't know if Baltimore quarterback there,
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, can't see down the field or what it is, or he just kind of starts. He's always going to be throwing it to Andrews. I think like that's like I don't know if he has the chemistry with the wide receivers, or what it is, but I think what if they actually had a stability running back, he might eat into Andrews a little bit, but I think Andrews will always get that from Jackson just because of the way I think Jackson plays.
Now, see, it's funny because I've had my eye on Andrews last year after the draft. I was just watching his point totals 5, 10, 15, 11. And then he broke out with a 41. Then the next week was 17. That's decent, but then 7 and 9. And then you got 18, 15, 16, a 9. And then come
Yeah.
end of the year, he really turned it on with 28, 35, 26, 14, 16.
Yeah. His last 4 weeks, he averaged 24 points a game.
Yeah, right when you needed it too.
Right. So it's like, yeah, and they get 40. But again, you're right. It is that Kansas City does have a more reputation of being more consistent.
Kelce, on the other hand, he kind of sputtered at the end of the year. Week 15, he had a 41-point game, but then he didn't play, I guess, or he got 0 the next week, and then 13 and 13.
Yeah. So, and that's why I think, it really was the age with Kelsey.
Yeah. The skill of the quarterback and the chemistry with the quarterback in Kansas City, that's what does it for me.
Yeah.
He had 4 single-digit games. He had in week 4 he got 6 points, week 8 he got 5, and then 13 and 14 he got 5 points apiece. He came out of the gate strong with 25, 23, 17, and then put up a 17, 17, 13 after that 6-point game. But I could see why people would be a little down on him. I just think with the tight end position, they just seem like they can play a little bit older too. I could see him putting another 5 years in.
Yeah. I don't, yeah. I've always been kind of, I'd rather be a year or two early releasing somebody than a year or two late. So
Yeah.
that's kind of with me.
All right. So number 2, I already told you mine. So just go ahead and tell me yours.
Kyle Pitts,
It was Kyle Pitts. Okay.
number 2. I did go with Kyle Pitts, number 2. And only for the simple fact that I don't think, when you measure up Pitts against, Andrews, Kelsey, Kittle, there's definitely a drop off. And even with the quarterback, but I think the talent and the fact that even with his rookie year, the offense was just horrible. He still finished 6th.
Yeah.
In tight ends. He was still ranked 6th in tight ends in the PPR.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
he still managed 1,000 yards too.
Yeah, he's only 22 years old. He's going to be 22 in the season. It's like I'm kind of looking at it from that point of view. I mean, most likely this draft, whether it's in the first round or in the second round, they're going to pick a replacement for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Some people feel like it's Malik Willis and that he'll be able to sit for the season. But next year, there's probably going to be a different quarterback in Atlanta. Most likely.
Yeah.
So I'm that's kind of what I'm going with him is that, in terms of a dynasty, it's like, yes, you have a redraft. Okay. I understand, some of these other guys going before Pitts, and I probably wouldn't take Pitts in a redraft, 1 or 2 or even 3. But in a dynasty, I feel like the upside is just going to be more there. Yeah. I couldn't make him number 1, but I wanted to.
This time next year, he might very well be.
Right. But that's why I held back just making him number 1, just because of the sheer upside.
Okay. All right. So for number 3, I think you went Kittle.
You think I went Kittle? Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say you went. I'm gonna say you went Knox.
I did not go Knox.
Okay.
I went Darren Waller.
That was the other one I was gonna go with.
Yeah.
That was my other one. I went Pat Freiermuth.
Okay. Yeah. I almost guessed that you put him number 1.
Oh, really?
Just because that's something you would do.
It would, but yeah, no, I held back. I made him 3rd.
You showed great restraint in doing that. By the way, I think if you decided to go, let's say you decided to go in your draft with the first 2 rounds, you did wide receiver, let's say.
Yep.
And let's just say you were going to go totally unconventional. Like in our league, we have 2 tight ends. So I was considering with the 3rd and 4th rounds going tight end.
Okay. Yeah.
With Pitts and Kittle.
Oh, wow.
And I think a great team name, I might have done it just to create the team name of Kittle and Pitts and Pitts and Pitts. referring to Kibbles and Bits.
Kibbles and Bits. Okay.
Kibbles and Bits, Kittle and Pitts.
You should have.
I should have done that.
You should have
been awesome. I would have ruled.
Yes. Hey, you know what? In our next startup, you can do that.
Okay. Who'd you go with? Oh, you went with Freiermuth.
Yeah. Okay. You went with Kittle, right?
I went with Waller.
So why'd you go with Waller?
Oh, because I do think that he still plays with Derek Carr. Yep. And Derek Carr is just the check down king.
True.
He doesn't throw deep.
No, yeah.
He simply doesn't.
He's like a Lamar Jackson almost. He just doesn't throw deep.
He doesn't throw deep. And so he's just going to rely on him. I know that. So Waller had a bit of a down year, but I mean, he missed one,
He missed
two,
a
three,
few,
four,
a
five,
lot of games.
6 games. Yeah.
Yeah, he did miss a lot of games.
And he wasn't lighting the world up, but he may have been injured too.
True. And I mean, he still had 93 targets and 55 receptions. I mean, they were still using him when he was in there. It wasn't like, he only had like 30 targets or something like that.
And dude, he's 6'6", 255.
Oh, I know.
And
He's a beast.
He's 30.
He is 30. Yeah, he'll be 30 for the beginning of the season.
So, I mean, we'll see how the offense looks under a different coach besides what's his name?
I know they had 2 last year. Chucky there, and I forget who the other guy is.
So we'll see what it looks like. But I think Derek Carr's he is what he is, and so he'll just keep relying on him, especially in the
but I think even with play calling, McDaniels, I mean, I think he learned a lot from Belichick and using and utilizing. You think about how much he used Henry last year and Smith, and now having a guy like Waller.
I mean, I could see him duplicating and having a dual tight end team.
Right. But I mean, like, Henry and Smith are nowhere near Waller's talent.
Well, so let's compare him to Gronk. Like, you saw what a mismatch Gronk created. Gronk was the key to the offense. It wasn't Edelman. It was Gronk.
And Waller is very similar to that.
Yeah. So he's going to create mismatches. And they do have some pretty, I would say, above average receivers. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. So tell me about Freiermuth.
Freiermuth, again, he's 24. He is a rookie, but I mean, 79 targets, 60 receptions, almost 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. I mean, he was a little bit more touchdown dependent with his ranking, but the fact that, same thing with Pitts. It's like they're in their rookie year and they're producing along the same lines as some of these guys that have been in there for a while. And it usually takes a couple of years for at least tight ends to kind of grow up and, just to kind of get used to blocking, catching, all those things they're asked for them, just like a wide receiver. It takes a couple of years for them, and that they really did shine. And I don't think just because Roethlisberger's gone that Freiermuth is going to be forgotten. I think, because most likely they'll get either they're going to get a rookie that's going to need somebody like Freiermuth, or they're going to get a backup who, who knows what kind of backup they're going to get, but it just might be a stopgap, or it might be, someone who can really take hold of the reins. But I think he's going to be in for another big season this year. And again, just being a rookie, 24 years old, going into a dynasty league. Again, I probably wouldn't pick him in a redraft, but for a dynasty, yeah.
All right. So number 4, I'm going to say you went with Knox.
Okay. I'm going to say you went with TJ Hawkinson.
That would be incorrect.
All right. You are right, though.
I am. All right. Yep. I think that's the first one that I've gotten correct out of all these weeks.
I did go with Knoxville.
There. Okay. So you go first. What's your tell on Knox?
What's my tell on Knox? No, I like the offense that he's in. He's improved over the last couple of seasons. Is this the one I want to look at? Oh, I guess I didn't put for him. He's improved over the last few seasons. I mean, he's only in his 3rd year. He's going into his 4th year, and having Allen there, we were talking about, having that elite quarterback, or, high grade quarterback, and, in the passing game. And I think, again, another guy who got 9 touchdowns, and it's like, I think who who's going to be their wide receiver, going into next season, I think Knox is going to have another big year.
I noticed too that Josh Allen, when he's extending plays, he's outside the pocket and the plays have kind of broken down. He relies a lot on Knox in those situations.
And because it's the chemistry that they have. I mean, you figure he finished 8th this year in tight ends in a PPR. He was 38th last year. Same team, but he's making that improvement. They're trusting him. So I think it's going to continue.
Did I say who I picked?
You did not, because I was wrong. And so now.
Yes. So I picked Schultz, Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys.
Yep. Okay.
And it took me a while took me a few weeks for it to sink in that Dak Prescott really relied on him. And then watching the Cowboys games, I think for me, I have like a subconscious tally of how many times I hear a guy's name during the broadcast.
Okay. Yep.
And it's just like I felt like I was hearing Schultz's name all the time. And to me, that means something. So I'm like, You know what? He relies on him. And it's kind of the same thing when Prescott is extending plays are breaking down. He does go to Schultz a lot. And I think Schultz has taken over the number one spot. I don't think there's so much of a competition there for that position in Dallas.
Yeah. The only problem with Schultz that I can foresee is that he might not be in Dallas next year. This season,
that would change things.
Yeah, it's like he literally, last season he started, but I mean,
he's 25, and so Blake Jarwin had surgery, I guess, on his hip.
Yeah. The only problem is that they have such a bad cap. I'm sure they want to keep him.
Well, I think Prescott restructured his contract to free up 15 mil.
Oh, that's good. And if they release Mari Cooper, which I think they're going to, that's another 16 mil there.
And I think Gallup is probably on his way out.
Yeah, I mean, he's a free agent.
Oh, okay.
The problem is that if they have Mari Cooper gone, Wilson's a free agent, Gallup's a free agent, so they better sign Schultz because they have no one else to catch the ball other than CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
So his ranking might go up really high next year too.
Yeah. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for number 5,
we might have the same guy here. Maybe.
That would be impossible.
Really?
It would be impossible.
What, you don't have anybody? No.
Okay. The wheels are starting to turn there. No, I have someone.
Now, did you go? I forget now who you went with. I'm going to say you went with Kittle.
I did not go with Kittle.
All right.
I'm going to say that you went with I'm going to say that you went with Higbee.
All right. Yeah. No, we're both wrong.
Okay. Who'd you have?
I went Noah Fant.
Oh, wow. Okay. I went Kyle Pitts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess it would be impossible.
It would be. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So Pitts, I mean, I don't have much to add. He's a young guy, super talented. They need an offensive line, some upgrades there. Quarterback. I mean, Matt Ryan, if he had protection, probably would be playing a little better. they probably need another wide receiver to take some pressure off of Pitts.
Well, yeah. Well, you figure Ridley now is definitely gone for the season. Gage is a free agent. So
yeah. Right.
now, granted, I mean, they might re-sign him, but they might have to go outside and look at the. But true, Pitts might be the only option again.
I mean, unless they draft a wide receiver, there's going to be one available for them in the first round.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it'd be taking a wide receiver where I think they're like 7th or something. Might be a little bit of a reach.
Yeah.
Just because of how deep that class is.
Yeah. With the on defense too.
Yeah.
And offensive line. Okay. So that's Pitts. Let's tell me about Fant, because that's an interesting one.
So with Fant, again, the age 25. Last year, he was the 8th best tight end. He did fall a little bit down to the 12th best. But at the same time, like if you actually look at he got 68 receptions, almost 700 yards, 4 touchdowns with Drew Lock and
yeah, Teddy
Bridgewater throwing him the ball. And it's like, I really do think that Fant has the talent to be better if he had a better quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, you put in even one of these rookies, I think, into that offense, and he will go up to, top 10, maybe even top 5 tight ends again with receptions. And, and if they do lose Sutton and they don't replace him, or they just get another rookie or something, that Fant, they might be able to lean on him a lot more. So I think, I mean, I know they have that rookie tight end that kind of ate a little into him, but I don't really see that happening too much. I think it was just the fact that Drew Lock and the other guy was probably more familiar with the rookie there, Waligo. I forget his name.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah. But that's why I went with Fant. I still think there's a lot of talent there. He's only going to be 25. Only a couple of years experience in the league. And I really do think that the quarterback play hurt him.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was more quarterback play than him not producing. Because, I mean, he still had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that'll be interesting once they get another quarterback in there.
Yeah, so he had a couple of games. He's had a bunch. He had a few games of, single points, 2 points, 0 points, 2 points. It's like, is that all him, or is that also part of the fact they just kept running the ball and the quarterback couldn't play? So that's why I went with him. I'm looking at it more long term. That's all.
All right. For number 6, I'm saying you went with Kittle.
Okay.
And who do you say?
Hawkinson.
No, didn't go with Hawkinson.
You went with Kittle.
I went with Dawson Knox.
All right. I did go with Kittle.
Oh, wow. All right. Knox, just he's going to continue to be a central part of the offense. So I like him there. What about Kittle?
Kittle, I mean, he missed a month, maybe a month and a half, like coming back from that injury. And he's still, 6 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards, over 70 receptions. I mean, he still finished 4th. He was the best 4th. He was the 4th best tight end in BPR. He missed a month.
Is he a health risk?
Maybe a little bit.
The pregnant pause.
Yeah. Well, no, because I wanted to see back end to him. I pulled up his thing and I'm like, because I didn't think about that earlier. And it looks like 15, 16, 14, 8, 14. So he hasn't looks like he's only played maybe one full season.
Hmm.
That was his second year.
Okay.
But I think I think with I think the way he plays sometimes is a little. I think that's why he gets into a lot of hurt.
Uh-huh.
He plays a little too much reckless abandon.
I think once he's in there, whether it's Lance, Garoppolo, they're going to rely on the tight end.
Yeah.
I think Lance especially.
I mean, he only had really two good weeks. He had like a 40-point week and a 35-point week.
Mm.
Everything else was like, 16, 13 in the teens and then single digits. But
And again, there's a pattern that I've noticed where let's take the QB1 for the team. They've got this ultimate weapon that they can throw to. And for some reason, they don't throw to the guy as much as they should. And then for whatever reason, maybe he gets hurt and the QB2 steps in and it's all to that guy. It's almost like the backup understands better than the starting guy. Get it to the playmaker, get it to the guy that will make plays. And maybe it's a conservative thing where it's like, it just makes the most sense. Like, I'm not going to go in there and throw passes to my third wide receiver. Let me just get it to the guy that makes the plays. I've noticed that over and over again.
yeah.
And so if Lance gets in there, I just have a gut feeling that Kittle's stock goes way up. I think he's just going to get your footing. I mean, even just playing backyard football, if you've got a kid on your team that's an absolute athlete, you throw it to him, you throw a short pass to him and let him just do the rest.
Right.
And it makes you look great.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you start getting fancy and cute with it. And that's where you don't advance up the field.
Right. And that's a lot of times where it's like taking what the defense gives you. How much do you hear that, quarterbacks don't do that? There's a lot of like the really good quarterbacks are learning that, just take what, an incomplete pass that's, 30 yards down the field might look good because you can complete it, but compared to that 5-yard dump off, yeah, it's not as nice looking or, but hey, it might keep on moving the sticks.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's where I am with Kittle. And wait a minute. I'm confused. What number?
I was Kittle.
You were Kittle.
But you are done with Kittle. That was your take on Kittle. That was good.
Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I mean it's true. It's like, and that's why I couldn't put him up that higher. But it's, I think you're right. I think with a new quarterback getting in there, I think they're going to utilize him. Debo Superman, I think, is going to open up a lot more for him as well. Just because you're going to have to account for him. And I think it's going to help. But like you said, he is also a little bit of an injury risk.
So number 7, who do you think I picked?
Hawkinson.
No. I picked Kittle.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a little shell game with you.
I get, it was hard for me to pick these guys. That's why I can't even think about you picking them as well.
So I'm going to say that we've gotten to the point where you would take Travis Kelce.
And there you go.
Yes.
Mr. Kelsey.
So
Right, like 3 for 3, I think.
yeah, I got
Right in
3
a
so
row.
far.
Nice.
Okay. What downsides to Kelsey? Why is he at 7?
Just his age.
Okay.
Just his age.
All
I
right.
mean, you know, it
So let me ask you something. You're in the 4th round and Kelsey's not been taken yet. It's like let's say it's the beginning of the 4th round.
okay.
And Kelsey hasn't been taken yet.
For myself personally, I would find it very hard.
Okay. What about the end
Take him.
of the 4th round?
I would just find it very hard to take him.
Okay.
Like, I understand why someone would want to take him. And I would just find it hard to take him myself personally. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't, but in a dynasty, if it's a redraft, yeah, I would take him in a heartbeat.
Oh, okay. So in a dynasty, at what point does he become a value pick to you? At what round?
Sixth,
Beginning or end?
anywhere.
Okay, 6th round. Okay.
Because it's like, you know, that's just me though.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's who I'm asking.
right. Yeah. It's just me.
Thank you. I wasn't sure who I was having doing this show with.
I think Jack's answering. My dog. But yeah, and it's like I have a hard time with Kelsey just because of the age. I know what he can put up. I know what he does. I mean, the guy is phenomenal. He's, you know, he's a wide receiver, you know, playing tight end. And the production that you get out of it, I think, is fantastic. But I also think that I'm not saying that you can't get that in other areas, because him and Andrews are the only 2 guys that even came close to 100 receptions, really. And they're the only 2 guys that went over 1,000. Kittle came close. So it's like, you're not gonna, like I said, the touchdowns, that's very tough sometimes.
Oh, it's totally, you can't count on it. It's so subjective. You've got to go with the targets, receptions.
Probably 4, you know, is probably a really decent 4 to 5, I would say, is a decent. Anything over that, you're getting into like, you know, superstar kind of thing. It's like, if you can get 3, 4 or 5 touchdowns from your tight end for the whole season, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's just me with him. It's like, I want to put him higher, but I just can't.
So with Kittle, I went with a feeling, and now I'm looking at the numbers. So my feeling is that he only had like 1 great season. I'm looking at it, and he really only had 2.
Yeah.
Out of 6. No, 1, 2, 3, 5 seasons. Yep. So, and that was in 2018, 2019.
3. I mean, well, the one I'm looking at, he was 4th this past year. So 2019, he was 2nd. And the year before that, he was the 3rd best.
I think my point is I think he's slightly overrated.
Possibly.
Okay. Because the perception of him is that he is like untouchable. Okay. Like, if you own Kittle and if someone's asking me, I own Kittle, and you're asking me to trade Kittle, it's going to take like a king's ransom to get him. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, he had back-to-back seasons where it was 88 receptions, 85 receptions. It was 1377. It was 1053 in yardage. It was 5 and 5 for touchdowns.
Right. Those were his second and third year.
You're right. But then you look at the other 3 years, it was 43 receptions, 515 and 2. It was 48, 634 and 2.
Right. But that he only played 8 games.
Which then also goes
into our thought of
with the injuries.
Yes.
And then last year was 71 for 9, 10, and 6. So
and he played 14 games.
Right. He
Out of
just because I think people would look at that and say, how is he not like in the top 3 on your list?
Right.
It's like, no, the quarterback play has been very inconsistent in San Francisco. And I don't know. I just look at the numbers and I'm like, I'm not wowed by them. So he's 7th on my list.
Yeah. And I mean, he was 6th on mine. He was just one difference from Kelsey. That's it. So I didn't put him out that much higher either. So
yeah,
I think we both kind of agreed he's a little bit maybe out of his overrated.
So I'm going to give you a hint on this next one.
Okay.
Help you out a little bit. At number 8, I have a guy that I think you would never think me to have on my list.
Dan Arnold.
I don't even know who that is. Who does he play for? Carolina?
Jacksonville.
Okay. Not quite that bad.
Hunter Henry.
He's a good tight end, but I don't think you associate me with him in any way. I even kind of surprised myself that he's on the list.
The guy that just got franchise tagged from Cleveland, Nduku.
Oh, that's a good guess. No. Zach Ertz.
Oh, Zach Ertz. Okay. Oh, yeah. I would have never have guessed that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever said his name.
just now.
Just now is the first time
I've ever uttered it in.
I'm going to say
really Zach Ertz. All right. Yeah. So who do you think?
Okay. Well, so I mean, 3 years ago, he was probably top 4 tight end.
Yep.
And then he just kind of fell off the earth. I think he got a resurgence in Arizona.
Definitely.
And for him to get that kind of resurgence with Kyler Murray as your quarterback, again, guy that breaks out of the pocket, needs the safety valve. I could see him duplicating what he did last year multi-times, many-fold. I'm not a huge fan of his, but
yeah, he was fairly consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a couple of single-digit games. He had 2 1-point games, but that was towards the beginning of the season when he was playing in Philly, and I don't think they knew what they were even doing. But I think once he actually got to,
well, yeah, because he was competing with Godere too,
right? And once he actually got to Arizona, I think you can see a little bit more consistency.
Yeah. And let me just look at his age here. What's his age?
31.
Yeah, maybe.
He's been in the league 9 years.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that pick at all.
Now we know why he's never around.
I don't like that pick.
Well,
I'm changing
number 5 tight end overall in PPR this year.
In an unprecedented move, I am deleting that pick, and I'm actually putting one of my honorable mentions in his place.
Logan Thomas.
I'm going to give you another guess.
Hunter Henry.
No, it was Dallas Godere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I like him because I like him better actually than the two guys after him on my list. I like Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. I think they get on track this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you say who you picked? I don't think you did.
No, I don't. Did you? I don't think you. I don't even know if you guessed.
No, I did not guess.
Okay,
All right, so
we're on 7 or 8.
we're on number 8.
Yeah. Number 8.
I don't think you picked this guy yet. Okay, and I don't think you're going to. All right, I'm starting to see a pattern with you. So I'm going to say for this pick, you did go with TJ Hawkinson.
No.
Okay. Who'd you go?
Darren Waller.
Oh, that's who I was referring to when I said I don't think you're going to put him on your list because of his age.
No, true, but he's further down. If you notice, like Kelsey is a little further down.
I should have
further down.
I should have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
all right.
I think he can be a productive player. I don't know how they're going to use him yet. In my mind, it's like, I mean, he was number 2 overall last season. And I think just because he got injured this year, but at the same time, it's like 30 years old. I just want to see one more season. I have no problem with putting him up higher.
Yeah.
But that's all. I mean, it's like.
Now, why would you put him on the list higher than a guy like Tyler Higbee, who's in a kind of like a diesel offense?
Why do I put him higher than Tyler Higbee?
Yeah. And Higbee's younger, I think.
I think they're close to the same.
Oh,
I was a little shocked by that. Yeah, he's 29.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, never mind.
Waller's 30.
Never mind.
Higbee, he also just got injured.
Okay.
I think his knee, I think he just injured his knee either in the Super Bowl or right before the Super Bowl. And 2, I don't even have him on my lists. Honorable mention, nothing.
All right. All right.
I thought about him, but I don't know. I think with Kupp and Odell and I think Woods has a chance of coming back.
Yeah.
I haven't looked to see. I mean, I know Odell's a free agent, but I haven't seen if Woods is a free agent. And so I think it's just one of those things where I just kind of don't trust him. I think he actually might lose his job there.
Okay.
Or at least his usage.
So for number 9.
Number 9.
What do you think I took?
Let's see. Logan Thomas.
No, I did take Mr. TJ Hawkinson.
I almost called that. All right.
You guess it so many times. It's like, I don't want to keep going there.
Exactly.
And then the one time you don't is the time.
Yep.
He let me down last year, but
who, anyway, Hawkinson?
Yeah, I wasn't pleased. I have him on one of my teams, and I hope he improves this year. But
I think he got injured for a good part of the season.
Yeah, he just wasn't. Yeah, he was like the only target. So maybe with St. Brown emerging, that'll take some pressure off of him.
Yeah, he started off good. I mean, 25, 20, and then 3, 8, 4, 15, 10, 18, and then 0, 11, 12, 14. And then it must be where he got injured because he's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
The good thing with him, that the injury was only his thumb. It's not a leg.
Yeah.
So, he should be able to come back pretty good. And I think, with St. Brown there, I think it's going to help.
Everyone was singing his praises. I mean, he was multiple sources were saying that he was probably going to be close to the number 1 tight end by the end of the year. So,
Well, I mean, he finished last season ranked 5th in PPR, 6 touchdowns, over 700 yards, over 67 receptions on the Detroit Lions.
yeah.
And Goff was coming in. I think people thought at the time he might do a little bit better than what he did. I think a lot of people expected Goff to be better than what he was. I don't think anyone expected him to fall off as bad as he did.
No.
So I think that kind of hurt him too. Because I mean, you look what he did with Stafford. So I can see the reason why, but he did miss 6 games this year. So he still finished with 4 touchdowns. That's why touchdowns are so hard with a tight end.
I know.
So hard.
All right. I'm going to guess that you went with, at number 9, I'm going to say that you went with Cole Kmet.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I went with Logan Thomas.
Gotcha. Okay.
I went with Logan Thomas. He did nothing until he got into Washington, and he really excelled. And granted, he is 31 years old, but Sean Bates, a rookie, is the only guy really behind him, and he's done nothing. So I think for at least another season, he's the number 1 guy there. And I mean, I think he has, and he was injured. He missed, he only played 6 games this year.
Yeah.
So last year he played 16. He only had 3. He was the 3rd ranked tight end, which I'm surprised in Buffalo he didn't do as good. But when they know how to use him in Washington, and I'll give him one more year. That's why he's 9th. I'll give him one more year.
All right. Let's go to number 10. I'm going to give you a hint. This guy probably could make a case for being 2 spots higher, if not 3 or 4.
Gillespie.
You got him. Mike Gesicki.
Yep. Him too.
Guy's huge. They don't have a whole lot of other weapons. They're not going to probably have a great quarterback no matter what.
But he is a free agent, so he might go to a different team.
Right.
Sorry to keep doing that, Dan.
No, I should have checked that. But even at that, I think because of his physical attributes, he'll be involved.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say that with number 10, you went, I think you did go Hawkinson.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
You did good this round.
Yeah. I got 4.
Yeah. That was good. With Gesicki, I didn't put him I didn't put him on my list. 1, because he was a free agent. 2, I felt like a little bit that this was more of a, like, I'm going to be a free agent. Let me do as much as I can.
Okay.
That's what I kind of felt like. Even though last year, technically, this year he ranked 9th in PPR. He was actually 7th last year in PPR.
So that's a valid point.
So
Contract
he actually
year.
had 2 years in a row where he was good. So he could be on his way up.
Yeah.
But it was just what I felt at the time when I was looking over the list here.
Okay.
And then Hawkinson, I mean, we've talked about him. I mean, I think he has the potential. I think he was injured. Goff was his quarterback, but maybe one more season with Goff, knowing the offense, different. If they pick up another wide receiver, which I think they should pick up another wide receiver, I think it's going to open up.
Well, the other thing
for
too,
him.
They're probably going to take a defensive player with their first round pick.
Yeah.
And so
Probably
maybe
Hutchinson.
that'll help the defense get off the field a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So that should help as well.
Yeah, I think the second pick in the first round, the number 32, they probably will pick a wide receiver, but they might just wait until the second round, first pick, and get the same wide receiver.
Yeah.
For cheaper, because the second round pick is a lot cheaper than a first round pick.
Yeah. All right, honorable mentions.
All right, who do you have for your honorable mentions?
Well, I have 3.
You have 3? Okay.
And I put Ertz in there. I switched him out.
Oh, okay.
I put Freiermuth in there, and I put Cole Kmet in there.
Ah, all right.
I mean, Freiermuth probably could be on the top 10.
I didn't make that good of a case for him bumping him up.
Oh no, I mean he could probably replace Hawkinson or Jasicki or Goddard and even Dalton Schultz. Even though I have Schultz at 4th, I could see Freiermuth becoming a top 5 points tight end point scorer this year.
Could, yeah.
But we'll just have to see what quarterback they get.
Right.
How about yourself?
I really went young. So I have Brevin Jordan from Houston. I mean, he still had 3 touchdowns. He had 20 receptions, but I mean, he only was targeted 28 times, and the other 2 guys in front of him, Farrow, Brown, and Atkins. I mean, like, I see him as the better of them, and I think with a better quarterback play, you'll probably see him. He's only 22 years old. Tommy Tremble, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Henry. I put Hunter Henry in as an honorable mention just because, I mean, he only had 50 receptions, but he did have 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, he had 4 in 2020 and he went up to 9. So it's like his stock was all based off the fact that he got touchdowns.
Yeah. And I think that will continue this year.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then I went Dan Arnold, Jacksonville. Okay. But they can take
well, there it is. There it is. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the same guys
in the top 10, just in different spots, but at least the
different
same
spots. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, I mean, and I think any of those 7, like, let's just take those 7. If you got 2 of them, I think you'd be very happy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go tight end and then tight end in your flex spot if you've got 2 good tight ends.
Yeah, exactly.
Because any of these guys can light up any given week. So if you're trying to decide between, let's say who was your number 9?
Thomas.
Yeah, Logan Thomas or a 3rd wide receiver on, a bad offense like a Houston. Go with the tight end. That's the number 1 tight end on their team in your flex spot.
Right. Yeah. Or even, Thomas with, well, maybe not Cooks. I was thinking maybe even Cooks, depending on the matchup. You go to you go to Houston or something. It's like, but yeah, I think you'd be happy with any of those 7 guys. And that's just our opinion, which means nothing, but everything to us.
All right. So we're not sure exactly what we're doing for next week, but we will have a show for next week. And we want
next week, I thought we were doing me defense, you kicker. Or was that just on our own?
Those were going to be, I think, individual videos. But I guess we could do that. I think we would just have to. I mean, why don't we just do defenses one week and kickers the next week, and we both do it?
Well, that's fine.
I mean, why not?
I mean, defense. Yeah, I think we could still do it. Because I mean, a lot of these guys.
Do at least defense, and then if we feel like doing kickers, we can. If we don't feel like doing kickers, we don't have to.
We'll do individual defensive players.
I would do that.
Yeah, so there we go. How about that? Individual defensive players for next week. You want to do?
You got to do each position.
I was gonna say, you want to do edge rushers or defensive linemen?
Well, do linebackers first because that's the hardest.
Linebackers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So linebackers next week.
So next week we're going to do individual defensive players, starting with linebackers, the top 10 going into next season. I like that. It's going to be dope.
Yeah. You didn't sound like a billion right there.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and we will see you in the next episode.
See ya.